Lightman, respectmyregion.com here today with another Morning Joint Podcast. Today, I'm with my very special guest, Steve Knapp, CEO, Seedless.Media. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Q4 holiday promotions. We've got some suggestions, we've got some tips, we've got some recommendations for what cannabis marketers, specifically in the retail space, that includes brands, that's all you buyers and intake and marketers over there at the retail level. We got some tips, we got some tricks, and we're going to give you guys some games. So I hope you guys are ready. Steve, good morning. How you living today?
I'm doing well, brother. And yourself?
Man, you already see it. I'm smoking token and we're making jokes already. So it's going to be a good one. It's a Monday. I was up on East Coast time this morning, 4 o'clock, baby. I love it when I come from the East Coast back to the West. Love it.
You roll like I do.
Come on, man. Now, Steve, this is a conversation today all about Q4 holiday promotions. So first, let's lay the seed. Let's get the setting set for them, right? Or what they say, let's set the table for the people. What holiday promotions are the big ones coming up here in Q4? We're in September. Q4 technically starts October 1, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And, in our industry, we call that Croptober, and there's a lot that goes on actually in Croptober. And it's actually one of the biggest promotional holiday months for the cannabis industry. And, what's funny, one of the things that we see is, the people in our industry that are educated and that understand their business and their demographic, they usually are increasing their marketing in that times.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, there's a handful of people that don't understand what their marketing does for them if they're doing it right. And they're usually trying to cut their budgets in Q4 because they're trying to look good in the books for the end of the year.
Yep.
But what they don't realize is by cutting that marketing is actually cutting the revenue stream and not staying in front of their potential customers and their loyal customers for the holiday season. Because you got Croptober, right? Croptober is huge, actually, for the cannabis industry.
Yeah. And the reason why, and this is what people need to understand, what happens in Croptober? Everything crops, right? And so there is an influx of products for sale. And from a flower and pre-roll perspective, there's an influx of concentrates being created. There's new batches being made of every type of product you can imagine. Because also, too, Steve, right, the inputs for some of these products also get cheaper. More flour means more trim is available, which means more oil can get made, which means a fresher batch is able to be created. So there's just a lot of things that go into just an influx of saturated products.
You're 100%. And then you roll into November. November is huge as well. For November, we've got, the week of the Green Wednesday for Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Thanksgiving. Green Wednesday, Thanksgiving, and Black Friday are huge for the cannabis industry. And if you're not marketing those right, especially with the fresh crops that came in from Croptober, and you're not going to be able to push your product as fast as you think you should, and your numbers aren't going to look as good as you want them to look at the end of the year. And that's a business pull. You want those numbers to look good at the end of the year. So you should actually be focusing more on your marketing instead of trying to cut budgets here and there so to make your numbers look good. This is the revenue driver for people. And every other industry outside of our industry, for retail for that matter, they understand this. And then
look at the holiday sales, right? It's as you're saying, we're gonna see Halloween, we're gonna see which is a 4-day week thing, like a 4-day weekend thing, and technically now Halloween's an entire month, right? Halloween,
like getting ready for that.
Yeah, people are literally anticipating a build up. You could do. In Christmas, they do, the advent calendars and all that kind of stuff, right? The day by day with the candy thing.
Yeah.
Right? My grandma used to do that with me growing up. At this point, I literally saw my cousin do makeup and costume stuff. She started 60 days because now you have these people that are so involved in culture, so passionate about their things, the things and whatever in their life that they love and like, that they'll do it 120. The countdown began 60 days ago for people about Halloween. It's not even the month of October anymore, Steve. They want it in September. As soon as fall hits, costumes.
Walk into Home Depot, Walmart, or Costco for that matter, and look at what they're doing at the beginning of September and the end of August. It's all over. Halloween's all over the places.
The end caps all of a sudden switch to things that are candy and Halloween themed, or even like Home Depot, Lowe's, all the home.
You see all the giant decorations out. The mechanical. They're getting more elaborate, and they're preparing.
1000%. And those are examples right there of in-store, some of the in-store tips and tricks you guys can be taking, that retailers can be doing to take advantage of just the holiday season, right? All summer long, it's palm trees and umbrellas for the beach and beach towels and flip-flops and all this stupid stuff that indicates it's summertime, right? But now we're talking Halloween, right? Why do we
Yep.
only wait, Steve? Why do people only wait for May the 4th to promote their Star Wars strains? Star Wars are some of the most popular costumes the whole month of October. Put all your Star Wars themed strains and your space themed stuff. Anything that can be turned into related to these holidays, you want to get these things involved and included and a part of it.
Seedless clothing, for example, they pumped up a long time ago for their Star Wars bongs for
Mm-hmm.
October, honestly, and they're already pushing them left and right because we know that because we help push them.
So Steve, obviously Halloween, big month, the month
Yep.
of October. You specifically were talking about Thanksgiving and those kinds of things, right? And then we obviously have, Christmas week. The whole month of December goes crazy, right? People are buying and shopping for their family, right? A lot of Black Friday shoppers, even myself, I don't go out during the craziness to the regular world. I just catch the sales and the lingering stuff, right? And so let's talk a little bit about these big weekends, these big holidays, and what are some good examples of these deals, these bundles, these discounts that you guys have run with your retail clients where you've actually seen notable lift and growth?
Well, let's talk about some statistics for a minute, okay?
Okay.
In October, the October is some of the highest yields for deals. There's a 51% increase in deal clicks alone just in October, 51%
Wow.
over the rest of the year. And then there's a 106% increase in deal claims alone in October. And this is for just the retail dispensaries, obviously the brands that go
You
into
telling me
retail
so deal
dispensaries.
clicks is 51 and then people claiming it is over 100?
Over 100%, actually.
Wow.
October is the biggest month, and if people aren't advertising for this properly, the cannabis retailers for the cannabis retail products and their clients, they're not promoting it properly, and they're
Wow.
not going to absorb this. And the whole point of us, you and I, having this conversation, is to educate some of the people that aren't as insightful about this, so they can get some of this cannabis holiday promotional revenue.
They
Show
always
you
talk
something.
about red flags and green flags, right, Steve? And I apologize for cutting out, but red
Yeah,
flags and
no, no.
green flags are when there's a 50% jump in just clicking and looking at things.
Yep,
Advertisements getting read. A double, triple green flag is when there's 100+% actually claiming the deals, going to the place, picking up doing the exchange and the product, right? So, what are
absolutely.
some of those kinds of deals, or those? What are those products and deals that are good for those scenarios?
Well, this is a great opportunity for, of course, your top selling products to stay in front of your cannabis consumers,
Mm-hmm.
but also to get your bottom tier products that don't move as well in front of them
Some
because
extra
you promote them
promotion.
side by side.
Yes.
You buy this, and I'm not going to say a brand name because I don't want to promote anybody that we're not trying to promote or anything of that nature. But you say your top selling brand name along with maybe some of these retailers have
Lower
their own
moving items.
innovations, their lower moving items, and their bottom tier, and they might not even buy bottom tier, but they're their smaller moving items.
Mm-hmm.
Promote them side by side. Promote your in-house products along with your national recognized brand products, your
Yeah.
MSO products, and
Yeah.
promote it to be, buy this and get this for a BOGO or get this for a penny or whatever your profit margins allow you to do. But promote them side by side because you'll
Yeah.
start pushing those low inventory items just as much.
I think that's something that a lot of people miss is they get, and I live in California, so I will say brand names because I could go to any store right now and it's pretty much the same brands that are huge on BOGO or buy one, get one 50, buy two, get one, buy four, get one, whatever it is. There's a lot of bundles of those BOGOs. So bundling BOGOs has been a strategy that I've seen for major holidays here in California and as the other states where you're able to offer unique discounts, product and category,
Yep.
product wise and categorically.
But also think of your conscious consumer as well, the person that's not trying to spend $300 or $400.
Yep,
Think
yep.
of the person that's only trying to spend 75 to 100 even,
Mm-hmm.
because the average order value or the average sale value for a dispensary nationwide is roughly around $75. So how are you going to increase that just a little bit, you know? And one of the things that my team does really well is to help our clients out, our retail clients, come up with these ideas. And
Yeah.
one of the ones that we're really always pushing in October for the people that are being price conscious is 5 ways to spend $100.
Ooh, I like that.
You know,
I
and
like
put 5 items in there. You know, that way that these people can see it and put together like 5 different bundles of these 5 different items.
Yes, yes, yes. 5 ways to spend $100. Now, here's another example, right? I live in Woodland Hills, California. Tarzana, this is the valley. This is the West Valley. For those of you that know, this is a pretty wealthy area. I am not that guy, right? I'm buying deals from the homies. I'm going specifically going on Weed Maps, finding out first time patient. Give me that 20, give me that 40% off. But for this particular example, this group has baller bags at 250 and 500. You buy those bags, you get, or no, you spend that much, you get a baller bag worth that amount. And some people also come in and buy the bags just straight up, knowing that it's a random assortment of all the fresh things, and they get extra stuff on top of that. And so,
But what about the people that don't have the 250 or the 500
so,
bucks?
so they have. That's where you took up the $100 area right there. They definitely had $100 promotion to get people a little bit higher up there. But one of the, a lot of stores focus on creating deals for those customers that are barely spending $20 or barely spending $50, right? And trying to attract, not to say that those are the bottom customers, but those are the customers that, your margin's a little bit less or significantly less when you have products that are only cheap or only affordable. And
Yep.
so you end up having to sell a lot more of those units
I'm
versus the
gonna
other ones.
I'm gonna share this with you after this cast, but this is something that we put together over here.
Would you like to screen share it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. Why don't you send it? Why don't you send me the link or send it to me email? We'll pull it up here in a minute. Oh, you got it already that quick. My guy Steve is ready with it. Let's pull it up right here.
I'm on it, brother. I'm
Come
on it.
on.
So this
Come on.
is this is just in October alone we're looking at right now because we're
Okay.
talking about October, okay?
Beautiful.
And this will tell you right here, and this is all statistics based on weed maps and other sources of information. And right now, like I said, 51% in deal clicks. So anybody that is trying to cut budgets on their marketing is going to lose out on that cannabis promotional holiday. 106% increase on deal claims alone just in October.
So if you don't, so here's an example. If you don't run weed maps and you don't like it, and you want to all of a sudden participate in a natural increase, Q4 would be the time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a natural increase for whatever local area that you're in, period, you know, because this is it. And these statistics are real. And we actually see them with our clients too. But this information made it more predominant for us to discuss this conversation that we're having now between you and with our clients and some of our potential clients.
So this one says through weed maps, but it's probably safe to assume that there's somewhat of a natural impact, we'll call it an increase potentially as well, on other sites as well. Leafly's big in Seattle. Google is probably
Yep.
big. All of these different things have regional, you know, consumer usages. Obviously, Google's everywhere. But
Yep.
what kinds of things are we seeing on some of those other platforms? Weed Maps is huge, but Weed Maps isn't everywhere, right?
No, Weed Maps. Well, Weed Maps is everywhere, but Weed Maps is huge. But Leafly is actually showing about 130% increase,
Holy
and
shit!
and honestly, through our publishing networks, which we used to have 125,000 plus, and since the last time you and I talked, now we have 150,000 plus publishing networks.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've done the math and we've gone through it, and throughout all of these publishing networks that we work with, which is just a wide range of cannabis friendly promotional publishing networks, we're seeing almost 150%. So it's above Weed Maps and above Leafly.
Wow. That is incredible. So
And that's just ads served on like the Chive,
yeah,
uh, Grinder Chat, Men and Women's Health,
yep, yep.
New York Times,
What's crazy to
CNN
me is,
Today.
what that says? That actually says that there's a better conversion and a greater increase when you don't focus on the saturation of cannabis.
100%,
Those
100%,
people
because
probably aren't getting hit with the same amount of ads and the same amount
no,
of things as the regular cannabis consumer getting hit, right?
yep, yep.
Crazy. How
And if
powerful is
you're
that?
trying to cut it right now and you're avoiding your bundle discounts, you're not gonna drive your online conversions, and you're not gonna absorb this right here.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
huge.
What a huge number. Now,
Yep.
Weed Maps has a variety of features and things as well, right? So,
Oh,
we're looking at
absolutely.
let's do some scenarios here, Steve. This is the fun part when you and I get to be a little creative. We're looking at a calendar here for some powerful days, right?
Yep.
So there's certain things on Weed Maps that you guys can buy. There's certain things that you guys can buy through marketing agencies like Steve, right? There's certain things you guys can buy with Respect My Region. But it's all about creating the right assets and getting them in front of the right people, right, Steve? This kind of incorporates that segmentation, right bait at the right time for the right fish, right?
Well, if you understand the data, which we're talking about right now,
Yep.
and then put together the right content, which you had just mentioned, then you've got the formula for success. You're following the process. And these companies, our cannabis clients and our cannabis consumers, it's retail still. So retail has a process behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are in the industry, they need to understand that there's a process, and that process is always a formula for success.
It's a playbook.
But
You all got to follow it, man. Run the play.
yep.
It's football season. Run the play. Hit your blocks. Play to the end of the whistle.
Oh,
Let's go.
you'd be amazed what we do with our clients for, the football season and the baseball season and stuff like that, because football's here right now,
Those are holidays. It's holidays for the people, right?
Yep. We've got one of our big cannabis retailers. They've got multi locations here in Arizona, and we advertise. When ASU wins a football game or when the Cardinals win a football game, that they have certain promotional items,
Yeah.
and they see a huge influx whenever those two win a game,
Yep.
and it's insane. We can identify through our services that we provide to them how high it goes up. And even with like our Michigan clients or some of our Florida clients or California clients or Washington clients, because we do the same thing with their promotional sports
Hey, and
and
I
how
just
it
want to
goes
say
up.
that idea is not only genius because it's working, but again, that playbook is being run by national restaurant chains, national retailers with millions and billions and billions and billions of historic revenue. I will give my favorite example right here, Steve. Are you ready for it?
Let me hear it.
Houston Texans win a game. You get a free, what is it? Pomegranate, no, cranberry palm, whatever slushy at Sonic.
Sonic. I knew you were going to say
Think
that.
about
Yep.
the cost: a styrofoam fucking cup and a beverage in the cup.
It's a 15-cent pull for Sonic, but guess what? When anybody shows up, they're buying a whole meal or a whole meal for their family as well.
Yep, yep. So it's like you just need people. What retailers got to understand is you have to creatively create customer acquisition campaigns using more than just deals and discounts, right, Steve? More to
Yep.
create an opportunity. It has to be a value proposition opportunity for somebody. And in this case,
Yep.
you want to speak to a pretty wide base when you think about sports teams, right? Or in this case, holidays, right? Going back to the core conversation, right?
Well, understanding your data and your demographic. Who are your customers? What are their interests?
Yeah.
You
So
know.
we're back to the Croptober image here. We've got National Taco Day. Can you walk me through each of these holidays and let's continue with what you were sharing here with your guys' case study?
Yeah, absolutely. Just for International Music Day, you want to promote that as well because a lot of people aren't as familiar with it, and it's just insightful. When people see you sharing insightful information, especially your consumers or your demographic. If you're in Memphis, what kind of music are you going to be promoting? To go alongside with some of your products. If you're in Detroit, vice versa. And if you're in LA, it's the same thing.
When
And
when
National
everyone's
Taco.
running daily deals, It's okay to bring on an international music day deal. It's okay to create a national taco day celebration event.
Yep.
These are authentic things to do to participate in. But what's not authentic is just creating 25% off its national taco day.
But
40.
here's a big one too. Breast Cancer Awareness Day. You
Yes.
know, everybody that we know, unfortunately, has had some kind of experience to deal with the C word that nobody likes, you know, because it's been detrimental to all of us, you know, whether it's ourselves or a friend or a family member or a colleague, you know, that hits close to home for all of us. And, you know, a lot of these companies that are doing these promotions, they're donating those proceeds to actually help out cancer awareness, especially breast cancer awareness,
Yep.
and you know, make sure that the organizations out there are seeing the funds that go to these for the research to make sure that we could lower this for everybody else. So you know, these are big things that people need to be attention to because they're opportunities, but they're not just opportunities. Like breast cancer awareness, it's also a way to, you know, support, you know, a family member or a loved one, or you know, somebody in the future that may run into this problem by increasing the research value through our medical and stuff like that.
There
But
are
we can do
tons
it through
of things
cannabis
that
too,
people
though. We
can.
can do it through cannabis also.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and those of you, brands or retailers out there that feels like, oh, I don't want to do something that's not authentic or just for the money. You don't have to do it that way. Nobody said you had to do anything that was so outwardly, look at us, look at me, we're doing it. But you don't have to be so outwardly yelling or loud about certain things. There
No.
are tactful ways to be a part of it. There are groups out there that work and do partnerships and collaborations and take donations and take money, and there actually are point of sale programs out there, right, Steve, that round up
Yep.
for these different things.
And my
So
thing is too, though, if you are going to participate in something of that nature, make sure that you're contributing toward the cause as well, because that's huge, and that's the whole point of it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, continuing on, I see National Mushroom Day. Maybe not so popular across every city or state across America, but definitely growing in popularity if people are paying attention to surveys across mainstream media, right?
Well, if you're in Colorado, Oregon, or maybe even Seattle or some other states that I can think of, you know, you might want to be paying attention to that one.
Absolutely, there are plenty of people out there that would love. There's all kinds of different merch that exists, accessories. Not everything
Yep.
has to be strictly selling psilocybin, right? There's
And let's not just
oh,
think of the US. Let's think
yep,
of Canada too, overall. You know, Canada, the whole entire country is mushroom crazy.
yep, yep.
And
World Series started. You have that coming. That I mean, dude, it's October, right? Once
come on.
it's play. We're talking playoff baseball, America's fucking oldest pastime, right? There's,
Yep.
again, speaking to specific audiences, right? There are overlaps between basketball in the winter and football in the fall and through the winter, but baseball season, there's 180 something games that they play, man. That's a long one,
Absolutely.
a long one.
And and the World Series is huge. You know, everybody watches it all over the world.
Yeah.
But not just that, you know, it's a great opportunity for the retailers and the retail brands to capture some of that promotional revenue.
7 different baseball games are played for the World Series potentially, which presents at least, 4 opportunities, right, to create a fun deal or an event, host a watch party in your community. There's a ton of different things that people can do.
Or if you're a dispensary, you know, why don't you have a little event in your parking lot? You know,
Yep.
bring some food trucks in there and promote your local baseball team or the baseball team that you guys are supporting.
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing holding people back from renting 4 TVs on 2 rollable stands and having them be back to back next to some heaters with a tent. There's nothing stopping y'all from that in the
Yep.
most.
And October is a beautiful time of the year to be outside for that kind of stuff anyway.
Let them know, Steve. Let them know. You're saying that though in Arizona, so I feel like you've got a little bit of a
Well,
little bit of a
it started to cool off here in Arizona, but I'm from the Midwest originally, you know, so I definitely understand. You know, everybody loves being outside during the wintertime or during the October month, actually,
I
in the
know
mid.
them crazy Bills fans and Lions fans out that way are definitely,
Yes.
going to be out there. They're still going to be smoking weed and drinking beers, jumping off tables, right? It's going to be a good
But
time.
this is also the great time, though, actually, for your organization, and I say your organization for dispensaries, to figure out what promotions you're going to be running. Be proactive about this.
Yes.
especially for Halloween. For Halloween, you should, from the 25th all the way to the 31st, you should have a different promotion going on for every day of the week.
Absolutely. And as we continue going through November, you think, obviously Thanksgiving, Black Friday, you've got what is it? Green Wednesday. I
Green
think it's
Wednesday.
Small
Yep.
Business Saturday, Cyber Monday is what it is for the other side, right? There's all these different things. You got the next little slide pulled up for us there, Steve?
I do, actually, I do.
Let's
And
go. Let's go.
you brought up November. What a lot of people don't even realize is November 1st is National Medical Cannabis Week.
Oh
It
wow.
starts right there. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew that.
Yeah. Make people aware of it, promote it. And the statistics are here for November as well, honestly. Another 16% increase in deal views, another 53% increase in deal clicks, and another 75% increase in deal claims. You know,
Wow.
increase your average order value by over 5%. You know, average order value on Black Friday is over 9%. Deal clicks on Black Friday is over 123%.
Wow.
Thanksgiving alone, because Thanksgiving, actually, people don't shut down anymore for Thanksgiving like they did when we were young and we were kids. If
Yeah.
you wanted to make sure that you had all your fixings for Thanksgiving, you had to buy that the day before. But Thanksgiving is actually a retail holiday now.
Wow. I didn't even know that one.
Yeah.
So I want to focus on one of the numbers up there, right? You said five. I think I saw 5.4%.
Increase in the average order value.
So let's do some hypotheticals here. Let's just do some projections and some math. So let's just
Yep.
say you're in a small town, it's broke, and your average order is $30. 10% of that is $3, right?
Yep.
Half of that, 5.4%, half of that is going to be basically a dollar. We'll call it like a dollar and some change, right?
Yep.
Dollar 50-ish. So like if you see 1,000 customers a month, that's only going to be like an extra $1,500, right? But if you see 100,000 customers a month, that's a lot more money, just growth, just by participating in something at the right time. Now,
Absolutely.
earlier you said that the average thing across the country is around $77, maybe 75, something along. We'll say 70 to 77. Let's do it on the low side and say $7, right? That's the 10%. Now, half of that at 5.4, right, is going to be $3.50,
Yep.
right? So now you see 1,000 customers, you see 10,000, 20,000. That number of $3.50 something cents times 1,000 times 10,000, that is real revenue for potential increases, right? For order value.
100%.
Just want to paint the picture out there for you guys. By participating in these things at the right time, you guys get natural increase just because there's that many more people buying things. And it's the time of the year where they're not just buying for themselves, they're now buying for other people too.
Absolutely. And you know what? To make it even more insightful, let's think of the cost of not participating in that.
Ooh, I like it. Let's run some of those numbers, my friend.
The cost of not participating in that means the people in your area that are participating in are going to take your 3.5%. And their percentage is going to go up even higher. So instead of them having a 3.5%, now they're going to have 7%. And if there's another retailer in that community that's not participating in it, they're going to get their 3.5% too. It's compounded.
So it's what I gathered from that is two things. One, it pays to participate, literally pays you to participate. And
Yep.
two, you're literally going backwards if you don't. And the third part, which would be knowing what the hell your competitors are doing, is always going to be at a premium in terms of a
Yep.
priority.
There's always a cost of not participating in the proper data collection and knowing your consumers and targeting them in the right way, especially for this time of the year. And if you want your numbers to look good at the end of the year, you will pay that cost if you don't participate.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine having all of your customers go somewhere else just because you weren't open that day.
Yeah, or not just because you weren't open that day, because you decided not to promote for that because you wanted to tighten up your books for the end of the year.
Yeah. Oh, that part too. So many decisions are based on tightening books for the end of the year, right? Blow through the products, acquire more customer data. This is the time of the year to squeeze more juice.
Absolutely. This is the best time of the year to squeeze more juice.
Look at these natural increases, man. This is crazy. This is more national data, huh, Steve?
Yep, absolutely. From
All
East Coast to
right.
West Coast.
Now, last time I checked, there's one final month at the end of the year. It's called
Yep,
December, and it's filled with people
absolutely.
buying and spending hella time at retailers.
It sure is. It really is. And you know what's funny is now it's gotten to a point where people are actually buying cannabis products for gifts.
Yeah. People
For
that don't
gifts.
actually use it are buying it for other people, knowing that,
Yep. Left
yeah.
and right, left and right. And it's a great opportunity to take care of that as well. You know,
So
Christmas Eve, you
what are
got
we
the
looking at?
turkey.
What are we looking at here for it says Spirit of December savings. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the week of Christmas saw a 61% increase in deal claims, actually. You
Wow.
know, even though people are trying to spend their money on other retailers, like other retail verticals because of, gifts giving and things of that nature, but there's still opportunity here within the cannabis industry. And
Yeah.
there's another 61% right there in increase in deal claims versus the rest of the year.
So let me, math was never my greatest subject, but forgive me if I'm wrong here. Between October and December, am I seeing over 150% increase right now?
Probably closer to 250%
Oh,
increase.
yeah. See, math not the greatest skill here, my friend. Holy cow! So that many more people buying, that much more product being purchased in one order,
Yep.
and so much more data accumulated when all of that compounds and formulates together.
Now, we work really closely with our clients, our dispensary clients, our delivery clients, and our retail brand clients.
Mm-hmm.
And they understand this information actually. And this is the time where they might be cutting budgets in other sectors of their business, but they're actually increasing their marketing budgets by even small incremental percentages because they want to take advantage of this. They
Yeah.
might increase their marketing budget by 5% or 7% or even 10 or 12%. But by doing so, they're claiming more of this piece of the pie than anybody else's.
Yes, by being more aggressive. So if you're able to plan, purchase differently, and move money around within the business to be able to support being more aggressive here, foot on the pedal, right? Like,
Absolutely.
let's
And
go,
this
man.
this is how your numbers are going to look fat at the end of the year.
Yeah, and you're going to be able to get rid of some of the product at the same time.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't
Because
you
you're going
don't
to have,
want to be holding on to product in the year. The buying freeze stops or
yeah,
starts right after Black Friday.
well,
Everybody overbuys.
yep, absolutely. And everybody has influx of inventory as well
Hmm.
because of Croptober.
There's more product coming in. It's just the way the way the teeter totter balances out as all these things, all these different variables come together. It's a perfect storm where too much product, the holidays, they ultimately buy too much from just about every brand. The retailers do from all their partners, and then people do go in and buy a lot more. But there's always a pause on the B2B side of things. Where because of too much product being purchased and now they're waiting, and that where that is going to float all the way through December into these days. So what are some of these holidays that we have here? And then obviously, 15 days into Christmas is always a crazy time as well.
Well, let's talk about one, and I hate to say it, that the Girl Scouts took advantage of when the cannabis boom first started.
Yep.
National Cookie Day.
Oh
And
God.
what did they do? Because they're brilliant for business. They went and set up shop outside of dispensaries in Colorado, and now they're doing it in other places all throughout the country. You
Absolutely.
know, so why aren't the retail locations and the retail brands trying to help promote that as well and get piece of that action? Hey, the Girl Scouts would be here, or maybe not say the Girl Scouts because I don't think that they want to be intertwined with that as much as they are intertwined with that. But think of a way to promote that. But then you have your Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday, and then you have the countdown to Christmas all the way through.
All the way.
Yep, and
Everyone's traveling. Tourism is through the roof. People are hanging out with their family. They're going to movies. They're going to the beach in warm places. It becomes America vacationing.
And not even that, the hustle and bustle of the retail world too, like I know myself, I get stressed out when I have to go to the mall at this time of the year, when I forgot something or if I wasn't proactive. And I'm not going to walk into one of those places without having my favorite joint in my pocket, fucking hitting that up before in the parking lot before I go in. Pardon my language. Or, one of my favorite edibles in my pocket that I can munch on throughout so I can be more chill during the stress of
And
these
I'm always
crazy
ripping. I'm ripping
consumers.
my vape like super hard before I walk in the mall. I'm trying to go to the mall and be like, "Damn, this is crazy."
Exactly, exactly. It's just it's a lot of opportunity for our industry in general, and I just wish that more people understood the opportunity, especially if they're in business, then they should be business oriented and understand the cost of not investing into this.
Yes. There's major impact by not participating and figuring out a way to compete in these days and create attractive offerings, right?
Yep.
Look, I mean, look at this. The data is very indicative that the more days you have in a month where a group of people, hopefully thousands and millions, are participating in it digitally, physically, in real life. It could be sports. It could be. I've remember running Emmys and Grammys stuff because some events on TV are that big. Remember how big American Idol used to be when we were young, right?
Gosh.
Like
Yeah.
these or Survivor. Remember Survivor nights with the family? There were
Huge.
literal events, and these things still happen sometimes. Look at what happened with Fortnite, with certain artists being on there, massive digital events where people choose to participate, music festival during the spring and summer months, Florida Ultra, Vegas EDC. These are massive cultural events, and their time. And we had the World Series in October. Uh, Everybody that is watching this that's in retail, you guys got to pay attention. You guys got to know what's going on in your community. And more importantly, you have to know what your consumers and the local customers around you, the community, you have to know what they care about. Do you live in an
Yep.
area where you see flags with your favorite teams on there? You should participate in the sports stuff. Do you live in an area where the coffee shops and the pizza spaces and the breweries and the bars are all participating in certain movements? Maybe you should be considering aligning your brand in what the culture and the local community is involved with. And so,
Right.
just giving you guys some recommendations. Q4 has a bunch of holidays. As you guys have seen, there is a plethora of data here provided by Steve and their team. Big shout out to Seedless.Media today. 64% for December, 94% for November, and 127% increase for October. You guys, neither of us works for Weed Maps, yet the data does not lie. We are simply telling you guys and sharing things that we have seen and over time that Steve and his team have accumulated this data after running campaigns on Weed Maps with Google, with programmatic, SMS, all of these things. Steve, can you elaborate a little bit further on kind of how we come up with some of these things here that we read today?
Absolutely, yes. So, one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you're staying in front of your audience and know your audience. Like you had just said, know your audience, know your consumers. So, stay in front of them with their interests. But this is the biggest time of the year to do it. You could have a 250% increase in your overall sales over Q4 if you are participating in this. And if you are not, the cost, once again, like we had mentioned, is that your competitors that understand it, they will absorb your traffic, and you won't see an increase, you will see a decrease because they
Yep.
understand it and they will be in front of your consumers.
You won't
So this
just
is just,
lose your usual customers. They're buying more than normal. So you're losing them plus their extra shit that they're buying.
yep, be proactive and
Yep.
start now. This is September 23rd. If you haven't started on this already, if you haven't put a plan together for this now, start doing this now. This is our biggest suggestion for our industry is identify what other industries have done over years and decades and start doing it right now if you haven't already. Even
I
if you're the small mom and pop that didn't understand it, this information's available and we can make sure we get it in front of you so you can understand it and you can put together your game plan so you can consume some of this promotional holiday revenue.
Yes, Steve, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you and the team?
Seedless.media.
Let them know. Seedless.media. You guys, I was educated. You can go into your URL right up there. You can click it. You can delete everything. You can type in the word Seedless.Media. You don't even need a .com or you are anything else. No www. It was crazy. We're in the whole future of the internet, and Seedless is leading the way with the marketing for the cannabis space. So I appreciate all of you who are watching. Steve, I learned more today than I ever got for doing marketing in college. So big shout out to Seedless.Media for joining us today. You guys, this is some Q4 holiday promotion suggestions and recommendations courtesy of the CEO of Seedless.Media. My guy has owned dispensaries. He currently owns restaurants, and he has over 200 retail and brand clients across North America. There's nobody else in the space that I trust more at the current time than Steve to help you guys make money. So you guys tap in, like, follow, subscribe. You guys can keep talking shit about me, but the numbers don't lie with this guy, Steve, and Seedless.Media. So we will see you guys on the next interview. Steve, I appreciate you. Happy motherfucking Monday. It's the North American Weed Tour.